So Porch Group will be attending some investor events here going forward. Let's talk a little bit about that and then what it means for us as retail investor. So they announced here earlier that on November 11th, November 18th, 19th, December the 5th, they will be a part of some events. For example, here the Goldman Sachs non-deal roadshow. So this is basically a seminar of sort. It could be meeting in person, it could be over Teams, and these meetings will not discuss new issuance of stock, financing, mergers, acquisitions, none of that stuff. These roadshows, non-deal roadshows, are usually hosted by analysts to have a conversation with management and get to know the companies, get to know management, hear what they think about the future, the outlook of the company. They are getting a lot of good information and good discussions that we as retail investors don't tend to get. And some people argue that yes, this is a wealth transfer. We will take a look at one such article in a little bit. And it's not only that, but if we look at what we retail investors tend to fall for at large as a group, we get the YouTube ads paid for by some scammy marketing company out of Canada where they promote penny stocks with no revenue, close to bankruptcy, needing new funding. We've seen a lot of those ads for gold miners in different areas, and yep, it's a wild west out there. If we take a look at some articles, some research about these non-deal roadshows, we can see that some people they argue that this suggests that institutional investors trade more informed after this, whereas we retail investors are harmed. So especially right after these non-deal roadshows. So the host, tend to increase trading in the firm as well. So we will see if this is true for Goldman Sachs going forward, if they increase their stake in Porch Group. We can see this if we look at institutional investors. There's always a ranking to see who holds and how large a share. But yeah, there's some conflict of interest indeed, because analysts, they get to know more about the company, they get to make informed decisions, they get to put it in the funds if they like it, they get to put it out as research recommendations to clients. And we as retail, we tend to have a harder time getting good information, and it's only going to get harder and harder. But I just wanted to highlight this because it's important for investors of Porch Group that, all right, they continue to do this work. We're going to see more institutional buy-in in the company as a likely result based on previous research of what happens after non-deal roadshows. So that's something that we can statistically expect going forward. And then also just be aware that this is something that happens for all companies. It's, not just these institutions. We can see large funds, Warren Buffett, he has conversations with managers of certain companies to understand where they are going. And it's really, really hard to beat this if you try to day trade, if you try to pick the top or buy back in the bottom. It's basically very hard. I was gonna say impossible, but very hard. Some people get lucky, and that just shows that, all right, perhaps for us less informed retail investors, maybe a strategy like buy and hold and just buy more over time is more prudent and could be a higher expected value strategy. Just wanted to comment real quick here on some upcoming investor events. That's been it for this video. And as always, hope you guys make a ton of money, whatever investments you decide to make. Take care now. Bye bye.